So Alan gave you a bit of an overview of films made in New Orleans. That, of course, though, is just the tip of the iceberg because since 1898, they've made over 600 films in Louisiana. And taken as a whole, these provide a really rich picture of the people, the lifestyles, and the beverages that Louisiana has. Swamp women, alligator people, kings, queens, princesses, dukes, earls, saints, sinners, lovers, fighters, pirates, pulp vigilantes, Irish hoods, Italian cowboys, space cadets, mullet-topped action heroes, masked maniacs, reincarnated blaxploitation gangsters, drug-addled detectives, inflatable Bond villains, extraterrestrial goo, mummies, zombies, fine young cannibals, Lovecraftian god monsters, Sasquatches, cat peoples, semi-Satans, and of course, Scientologists. Now, of course, not all of these are acknowledged classics. In fact, several could be described as a sackful of sock. But Louisiana, with its swampland, voodoo folklore, and southern charm, tends to bring in filmmakers that are interested in unusual subject matter. And of course, there's not time to talk about all of the horror, action, and cult films made in the state, but I will touch upon a few important examples and highlight the beverages that are consumed as we go along. Some being cocktails, some being just straight booze. Now, it didn't take long for Hollywood to find out that the swamps were a perfect setting for a horror film, and one of the first and best is The Cat and the Canary. It has a Scooby-Doo-like premise, where a group of people gather together for the reading of a will 10 years after this plantation owner has died. At the same time, a masked maniac has escaped from the local asylum and terrorizes the group. Now, this stars Paulette Goddard, who was Mrs. Charlie Chaplin at the time, and in the role of her love interest, they hired Bob Hope, who had had very little luck in films up until that point. This proved to be his breakout film, made him a star, and for the remainder of his career, he really played variations on the part that he played in this film, the wisecracking, brave coward. Now, if you're trapped in a creaky old plantation house with a psychotic killer, how are you going to settle your nerves? Anybody? Sounds good to me. Of course, being a Bob Hope comedy, there's more liquor-laced laughs than actual drinking.
I have the power.
Yeah. Me?
There's spirits all around you.
Well, could you put some in a glass with a little ice? Oh, it's on the house.
My house. Come on, Cicely.
I could use a drink.
Yeah, I could too. I think I could stick. Might as well be alive stick as a dead stick.
Crosby.
David. I'll bring a bottle of scotch from the dining room and we'll sit around here and drink scotch and make wry faces. Yeah. Scotch and rye? Here. I don't need a gun with jokes like that. Yeah.
All right, well, alcohol, and because the film starred renowned alcoholic Lon Chaney Jr. Now, the part of the mummy brought out the very worst in his drinking behavior. He had very little to do in the films. You know, not only was he covered from head to foot in bandages, you know, he had no dialogue. All he could do was be menacing very, very slowly. So to fight the boredom, he was known to keep a flask with a straw underneath his bandages. Between takes, he'd pull up the straw, then when filming resumed, he'd just tuck it back in. By midday, he was usually staggering pretty well. Now, Bud and Lou also took an unintentional trip to the Big Easy in Abbott and Costello Go to Mars. Now, despite the title, they actually never land on the Red Planet. Instead, they land in New Orleans during Mardi Gras. And due to the costumes, they think that they're surrounded by Martians. Lou is so startled by one of the residents that he has to be revived with wine.
Forerunner to Easy Rider.
Yeah, it's like Easy Rider.
Exactly like Easy Rider.
A couple coon asses shoot him at the end.
New York wise asses.
I think one of you's a Jew.
But I don't know which one. It's going to shoot you both.
That's pretty scary.
I think we are.
It's just...
Yeah, Mardi Gras hasn't changed very much in 50 years. It's still mostly throwing confetti and skipping. Yeah. All right, they actually do leave the Earth's atmosphere, but they again miss Mars, land on Venus instead. As you can tell, that's not entirely a bad thing. The entire planet is just populated with women. But all good things must come to an end. And so they do return to Earth, and on the way back, the writers threw in a bar gag that already had whiskers on it back in 1953.